Hello and welcome to a very, very special episode of Tender Loving Care. It's spooky season, and Kate and I wanted to discuss something equally horrifying as Halloween, and then also have something genuinely spooky and mystical mixed into it. So Kate and I are going to bring you today an episode that covers purely sister wives. And we also have a very, very special guest. Kate, how excited are you?
I'm so excited for all elements of this phone call.
I know there's a lot going on because we have discussed sister wives. We've had it on our Wheel of Shame before, and there is 18 seasons. So, there's a lot to discuss about the demise of these five monsters. But we need an expert. I wanted somebody to come in that we could really chat with, that knew these gals and Kody really well. And I happened, Kate, to guest on an amazing podcast that is called Glittercast, and it is with my darling friend Renee Watt. And somehow we got into the conversation that she loves sister wives. So we want to welcome to our podcast Renee Watt, professional writer, astrologer, psychic, and witch. Hello, Renee.
Hi. I'm so excited because I've watched every single episode of Sister Wives, but
God bless.
Rewatched, I think, through season 15, maybe 16, because I don't know, I just had to watch it again. I was invested, still am.
Listen, we understand. Kate and I mean, I'm probably a little bit more guilty of this than Kate because obviously we are huge Bravo fans as well as TLC. I have watched The Real Housewives of New York. The very first episode, we're not discussing the latest season because it doesn't count, but every single episode, multiple times. It's my cozy show. I like it in the background. And Sister Wives is like that as well.
Yeah. Sister Wives is just it's always just so easy to watch for me. And I always just feel super engaged with what's happening.
Yeah, it's and there's a lot and also a little as well. Many seasons. So I just want to, Kate, this is your first time meeting Renee, but I know I've definitely bragged about her a lot before. I just, for the listeners, I just want to let you know how I met Renee because it's such an amazing story. In Los Angeles, there is an amazing occult apothecary called the Crooked Path on Magnolia in Burbank. And I happened upon there on my birthday. I went in and they were offering readings. And I thought, why not? I'll get my cards read, my tarot cards read. Went in, met Renee, had an amazing reading for numerous reasons. But one of them was very interesting that she mentioned when my grandfather would kind of come in to see me, there would be a shamrock. And I was like, okay, all right. And we kind of had a good reading, good rapport. And I left and we went to a pub locally. And I was telling my partner at the time about the reading. And I looked at the bar and there was a guy with his wearing shorts with a big shamrock on his calf. And I was like, all right, boom, sold, done.
Yeah.
And I also think that Kate, I'm sure, because Kate's in Austin, but we met in LA. And Kate, did you ever go to any readings in LA?
I did not, but yeah, you're right. I've heard so many praises sung by Pauline about you, Renee, and I'm so excited to finally meet you.
I know, because there are so many people that take advantage of people that want to have readings in LA. And so when you find a good psychic, good tarot card reader, good witch, I love saying that. It's amazing. So thank you for joining us, love.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for being my hype girl.
Always.
The love is so mutual.
Oh, my love. So Kate, why do you want to dive?
Yeah, so
dive in.
Okay, so you said you've seen every season, some of them multiple times. How did you get into watching it? Like when it was first, were you watching it when it was first airing? And what were your initial feelings about all of these people and how they function? Okay, so I feel like I'm about to give you
a way deeper answer than like you guys are anticipating. So as soon as I saw the first commercial for Sister Wives, I was like, oh, fuck yes.
Yes.
Because, all right, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. And
Coyote Pass, Coyote Pass, Coyote Pass.
Right. No, totally. Well, Flagstaff. But not only that, on the border between Arizona and Utah was the polygamous compound of Warren Jeffs.
Yes.
Yes. One of two. And so I was like 18 or 19 years old when all over the news, there was a story about these polygamists that were living in my state with 12-year-old child brides and like multiple wives. And I just remember being like, what? Like in Arizona, like in America?
Yeah.
Like what is happening? Because I was like, like that's just such a like pivotal age for you. Like you're going into college and I just couldn't believe what had happened. So after that, I actually read 3 different autobiographies by women who had lived polygamy either in the compound in northern Arizona or the one that they ended up opening in Texas, which I believe is like where they finally arrested Warren Jeffs. But like Warren Jeffs was totally and still is running like this polygamous sect from prison. And I like the journalist who basically took down Warren Jeffs, Mike Watkis, was like, a local news anchor. And weirdly, I was just at a murder trial in Phoenix. My best friend, Sarah Turney, who, if you're into true crime, you may know her sister disappeared and her dad went to trial for the murder of Alyssa Turney and was acquitted. But I was there because I'd known Sarah since I was like 3 and Mike Watkis was there. So not to like totally derail, but I've just been like heavily invested in like the Warren Jeffs story, in polygamy. I've watched every polygamous show, like Shiny Happy People, My 5 Wives, Searching for a Sister Wife.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched them all, and I don't know if it's a past life thing or what, but like I just like devour polygamous content. And I will say, like, if you are looking to read a book from a polygamist who escaped Warren Jeffs, The Witness Wore Red by Rebecca Muser is the best one. But I've read 3. Like, I can give you guys names of books to read.
We should do that because first of all, I had no idea about that. I'm so fascinated by that because the whole Warren Jeffs trial, and that, like you said, there's been numerous documentaries and things like that about him. I think the most recent was that Keep Sweet.
That was it. That Shiny Happy People was the other messed up family.
Right.
Yeah.
So many. There's so many. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
Also, it's TLC's, like you said, I think you just mentioned 2 or 3 TLC shows that are also fascinated with this. So TLC is a lot to answer for, but your path from falling in love with Kody and the gals is not similar to ours. Kate, I don't know, what's your story of how you started with Sister Wives? Did I just force it upon you, or
a little bit?
Sure.
No. I mean, I had seen it. It was one of those background shows that I had kind of dipped into here and there before we started covering it on the podcast. So I was aware of them and had seen a few episodes, but then I always take your TV recommendations very seriously. So when you're like, you have to watch this curly haired maniac, I'm like, okay. And so it snowballed from there.
So that's where it was. Got it. I mean, I try to think back, like sometimes Kate and I will be asked, how did you first get into Bravo shows and TLC shows and just reality junk in general? And I describe it as though I can't remember a life before Housewives. I mean, Housewives is so encompassing to me. It's like, I can't even remember a life when I didn't watch Housewives. I have no idea how I started it. But with Sister Wives, I think it was the same as UK. I think I was, going around TLC and I just saw this guy and I just remember watching it and they were like, "Oh, by the way, we're on season 18. I'm going to keep saying that because there has been 15 seasons of nothing, like nothing. We had the catfish, but nothing. And now finally we are being gifted with the most beautiful gift of all is that all the women are going, fuck you, to Kody and leaving. But
Yeah.
I remember the first like seasons you go back and watch, and Kate and I watched them for the podcast. So the Wheel of Shame that we have all of our shows on from TLC picked Sister Wives, and Kate and I were like, oh my God, there's so many. And they're all like an hour long. But we did, I think, like seasons 1 through to 5 or something. I mean, I realize I've wasted hundreds of hours of my life watching Kody Brown.
It's not a waste. It's worth
That's
it.
true. You know, thank you. Thank you.
I hope that when I die, just the entire series of Sister Wives flashes before my eyes. Actually, I also really love Big Love. That's like one of my favorite series of all time.
That's another one that I forced Kate. I was like, Kate, you have to watch it. Big Love, I've watched like 3 or 4 times. One of the best shows. The ending.
Oh my God. I can't watch it without crying, and I don't cry. Unless animals die, I don't cry.
Ah, interesting.
But if I'm watching the last episode of Big Love, I'm crying.
Always.
I'm always crying. I cried today.
I hope it was a good cry. Like, I hope you feel good afterwards.
It was just a general overwhelm cry.
That's
like,
fair.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that's really endearing and adorable.
It is. So, I mean, a really big thing that I should say, Renee, before we get into these guys, is what happened for our pod, that we got this tip off back in, I think it was like November of last year or something, Kate. I met, protect all my sources, but I met a gentleman who knew someone that was working on this season of Sister Wives. He gave us this background goss that we put on the poddy as an exclusive, and it blew up. So we got all this media. We were in The Sun, we were in People, we were in like all of these things due to Kody Brown. So Kate and I definitely have an affinity with this show, right, Kate?
Yeah, it really got a lot more attention than I realized it would. And it was very exciting. It was a little bit overwhelming, but overall a great thing.
It was amazing. All right. So when we are approaching this whole monster of 18 seasons, I'm trying to think of like where we should start. So I mean, I think I'd love to break down kind of the fact that for so many, we have stuck by and watched these women and Kody run around having, Thanksgivings. There's a lot of conversation about food and holidays all the time with them.
Yeah.
And I love those episodes. I love the episodes where they're like, well, what are we doing for Thanksgiving? In that season when they had like 100 people for Thanksgiving, and they had this facade, and we've seen the, of course, when Robin was brought in, and they had the wedding. And Renee, a fond memory of mine, and I think Kate will agree, of that we had to review, is remember when they spent like 8 episodes writing this family, a family kind of, it wasn't a prayer, it was like a family promise. Remember they had to write that big thing.
Their family mission statement.
Yeah.
I've watched it more than once. I told you.
They spent like 8 episodes going over this mission statement. It was going to be presented, right, at this big renewal or whatever it was. And they had that woman that came in that tried to make all their dresses, but then like failed at the last minute. Do you remember that day? It was one of the funniest things. She's like, oh, I don't know if you've got anything else to wear. And Christine was just wearing like this monk's cassock, like a brown thing. It was one of the best episodes.
Yes. It's not like one of the clearest episodes for me. I obviously remember the mission statement, but I do like remember the dress now, the brown sack dress.
I mean, what would you say stands out? I mean, we'll get into this season that's currently airing, but out of all of them that you've watched, what are the pivotal points that you've seen and have just either thought, this is so awful, this is terrible, or just laughed hysterically like I do on a regular basis watching the show?
Well, I mean, I feel like I really hope that, well, I have to say, like, I really hope the show doesn't get canceled because everything's falling apart. Like, I hope they figure out how to keep filming. And I think they have to, because I think it's like their main source of income. Like, I don't think there's like a plan B for like Kody Brown. And all has
There's
nothing.
no plan. Kody's got no plan.
Wait, you mean My Sister Wives Closet isn't going to pull in all the money they need?
You know what? I looked into it because they had all these cute necklaces that said sister wife, and I was like going to get matching ones for me, my friend, and I was, I'm not spending this money on this.
By the way, unclear whatever that the website's still up the last time I looked, and it's just there's like 4 items no longer available. But Robin tried. She really tried with that.
But you know what? Then you have like I think Mary and Christine are selling LuLaRoe, which is like the con artist legging.
Well, good. I'm glad you brought that up, because the whole season right now is Mary. This was I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I'm gonna warn you, Renee, I'm gonna be a little bit nasty. Okay, I get a little bit nasty talking about these people.
You can be it.
But when this episode, when she's telling, she's telling Mr. Ringlets that I've got to move my business, and it's her clothing business. So you're right, it is that LuLaRoe. But also, if you check out their Instagram, Kate's, I think you saw this, they're all hawking this multi-level marketing gut health shakes, which is like
they're weird drinks, and they have their kids roped into it too. Like I think the Kelsey's doing it. Like a bunch of the kids are selling these weird, they look like glow sticks, right? They like put them in their clear bottles, and it's like this crazy ass pink color or like blue or whatever. And I'm just like, it's totally multi-level marketing.
Yes.
Which we all know is like the PC way of calling something a pyramid scheme. You know?
Absolutely. And what I love is that now, instead of saying weight loss or it's gut health, that's what they're saying now. So it's like your gut health drinks. It's like, no, really, it's like, so you shit yourself with these drinks because that's exactly what they do, and then you feel skinny afterwards. Like but that's what Christine was walking a lot, and I know Janelle was in on it. Janelle was in on it. But Mary, I think you're right. I think her clothing business is LuLaRoe.
I have this fantasy that I'll stay at like the B&B one day, but she's doing these like haunted tours right now for Halloween at the B&B. It's only $50, and she'll take you through the house and tell you about all the ghosts that supposedly live in the house. And it's like $50 to get a ghost tour from Mary Brown. And I was like, damn it. Like if I was in Phoenix, I'd think about it. Like I'd think about driving up for that.
Of course, because I keep thinking you're in LA. Of course you're not. But why did you? Oh my God. 50. Well, that's a change, because there was this whole article a couple of months ago about her charging a ridiculous amount of money for her to do a private retreat. I don't know if you guys read about this. It was something like 10 grand to go and stay in that shit, in that nice B&B.
That modest farmhouse.
Thank you, Kate. Modest farmhouse B&B. That looks like it's just covered in dust. Every scene they go in there, the furniture, I feel like you pick up the pillow and you're like, oh, there's just dust coming out of it. But and she was doing a retreat with her. There was meditation, there was some bullshit talk she was going to give, and it was like 15 grand. I don't think she sold me tickets.
I know. I'm like, I always am thinking about like, how can I use my status as an astrologer to make these people like to me? Like, can I offer you like free meditation? Yes. Can I offer you? But like, you can't. I don't think I could do that.
I need you to. Can you imagine approaching Kody Brown? I'd love to give you a reading. Oh my God. So let me see what else I have here. Kate, what do you want to touch on before we get into the season overall stuff?
Overall stuff. I guess, what's the biggest impression you have of like Kody and Robin, and like where things went wrong in the seasons past? Like, can you pinpoint where you think things took a big turn? Yeah,
I think it was a mistake to leave Las Vegas. I think that was when everything fell apart, because like it seemed like they were settling in, they were all near each other, and like Kody had this like fantasy that they'd all live in this big house, which like I think would have been fantastic. That would have been like the best. That probably would have been the best thing they could have done for themselves and for us, like just to watch that. But yeah, I mean, and I feel like, obviously Mary being catfished was a problem. Like I feel like honestly, the steadiest relationship he probably ever had was with Janelle, because she seems like the most even keel, the most logical one, and he's probably the most in love with Robin, but I think Janelle is probably the most easygoing, most sensible one. And so the fact that she's leaving,
I know. And I think, remember, don't forget his infamous quote this season. She loves his pecs and his six-pack. I mean, I think that Janelle is genuinely sexually attracted and likes to get it on with Kody.
I think they probably are real good there.
I think so too. I think they have the best sex out of all of them. I think what Janelle wants is to see him like twice a month to have sex, and then he goes off and does his thing and she goes off and does her thing. That's it. I think she'd be very happy with that. But what he did to the kids, Renee,
that's all it is. It's the problem with the kids, because he's like, sorry if you're hearing a clicking, my guinea pig is drinking water. And I always forget, like I'll usually just take it away for a little bit and give her a bowl instead when I'm recording. So sorry if you're hearing the clicking. But yeah, I totally think that like the kids was non-negotiable for her. And like he was just like, he's being such a baby about it. Like you're the parent. It doesn't matter if they're adults. Like, and the last episode where they all talked about the situation, which like I definitely think that Christine masks her desire to stir the pot with like, I want to check in with the kids emotionally.
Yeah.
Because she never advocates for reconciliation.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you're genuinely like trying to make sure there's a healthy relationship happening between the kids and their father, you have to be like, well, I'm so sorry that happened, but like, and then offer an advice to make the situation better. And I'm like, I feel mean just saying that because I hate saying mean things about people. And I actually like,
I don't
in a lot of ways. But I just like, and then also there was this one part in the episode where who's the oldest son that just bought the apartment?
Listen, there's Garrison, McKelty, Gary. I don't the name.
Garrison, I don't know. It's the oldest. It's the army one. Because Gabe, I think, is the sensitive one.
Gabe's the sensitive one. I think it might be Garrison bought his house.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think Garrison. So like there's this one time where Garrison's like talking about how like that text thread, which I wish someone would just leak.
Why not? I know.
Well, because whoever leaks it, it'll be obvious who leaked it, because it'll show like who's sending versus receiving unless they transcribe it. So like, and you're thinking about leaking it and you don't just transcribe it and leak it. But like there was this time where Garrison's talking about how like Robin was making it about her, and Janelle was like looking at him like she loved it. Like she loved what he was like saying. I think they like secretly love it. I don't think they'll participate, but I think they secretly love it when people smash like Robin.
I think so too. And and I saw Kate like nodding, smiling so hard when you were saying about Christine, because I want to hear, Kate, what you think of Christine, because I know you have a strong opinion on her, but I will tell you, June Diane Raphael, the actress, writer, and Casey Rose Wilson and Elizabeth Lane, they did a podcast where they were discussing, they're obsessed with Sister Wives, so they do sometimes get together and talk about it. And June Diane Raphael has a quote about Christine that I thought is dead on. She said, that Christine she's as mean as a snake. So true. Hey, what is your opinion of Christine?
I love Christine. I think that she has held in a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts for years and years. And now that she's finally, I mean, she's always, had her little sassy confessionals, but now that she's officially not with him, I think she's having a little fun and like letting it all out and stirring the pot. Yes, she is in a sneaky faux concerned way. Yeah.
Yes.
You can see through what she's doing, but I think she's funny.
You're so right. It was, I swear, I need to get screenshots of her going at that table where they're eating that key lime pie. So, Garrison, I wasn't there. What exactly happened at Christmas? I mean, she is a sneaky little bitch, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard because I feel like with Robin, I think that she's genuinely like a very sweet, sensitive, like loving, loyal person. But I also think that she like does use that to be like, I'm so nice. Like, I just want to love you guys. I'm so nice. And I also think that like, it's like her being the perfect wife or whatever is totally like part of the reason why all of his other relationships failed, because she should have been like, you can't stay here. You have to go. And she's like saying, but also I feel like Kody can't be told what to do, but also like it's like she's too much of a pushover. And so she's just like drowning in what's happening around her. But she could like, no, you have to go do this. Or like, I'm gonna go. Like, you know what I mean? Like has cards to play that she's not playing.
But she sees the other women's taking a stand like that, and then Kody pushes them away. And I think she's like, if I do that, he'll do the same thing to me, maybe. And yeah, you're right. She's like always hedging with
right. Well, and she's raised in this highly submissive culture, right?
Yeah.
All these women were raised to be highly submissive because that's just the nature of like Mormonism and polygamy.
Absolutely.
I would also say that I think all of that's true about Robin, and I am no Robin fan, and those daughters, will get onto them. I have strong opinions about those daughters, but Robin herself, I will say she got the shit end of the stick because she came into this family being promised polygamy, right? Being promised sister wives, being promised that we're all looking after each other's kids. And she comes in and everyone's kids are pretty much grown up. And Janelle's like, I'm not looking after your kids. And Christine's like, I'm not looking after your kids. So she really was left with all these promises of these sister wives coming in and helping these kids. They never did.
Well, and I thought that like the relationship that had the best chance was Christine and Robin, because Christine, had truly, right, when Robin was marrying into the family, and then, Robin started popping out like, her children of the corn offspring right afterwards. And so like, I feel like there could have been opportunities. And I think it's really weird that the two daughters like ignore each other in the hall at school.
That was a revelation. Now, let's talk about those kids, because we got something very special in this last episode that aired of season 18, that we got an interview one-on-one with, I guess, Robin has 4 children. Is that right? 5. No, she's 3 with the... What does she have? Does she have 3 with the previous husband?
She's got 5 because she's got Peyton, right? No, Peyton's a different one. She's got the one with dark hair, and she's got 2 girls from her previous marriage, and then she had Solomon,
and Ariel or Aurora, or I don't know these names, but it's something.
A lot of them are similar.
Yeah. So the 2 girls that were interviewed, there's, I guess, ones that I think they're talking about like either end of high school or they're at a community college together, unclear. But they were sat there and they were speaking. And when she started to cry, I went, no. Those 2 girls have been, I mean, you can't imagine what Kody tells them at night, right? But I think also, I don't trust them. Yes, I am casting these aspersions against young girls. I don't trust them. I didn't like their crying, and I think they're complete manipulators. I didn't buy a second of, I'm just so nice. They were doing exactly what Robin does. I'm just so nice, and everyone thinks I'm terrible. I was like, shut up. I didn't like those kids at all.
You know, she's basically a clone of her mom. I was watching it with my boyfriend who I didn't even rope him into watching it. Like he just like sat on the couch one day while I was watching it and I was like, oh, this is one of our new shows. And now he'll be like, is there another Sister Wives? But he won't be like, I like Sister Wives. He'll be like, I just, if it's on, I like to be with you. I'm like, shut up. You fucking love it. But he was like, is that her clone? Like, they look exactly the same. They act exactly the same. Their faces move the exact same way. And I will say that, like, I do think that these kids are probably really sensitive. And I do think that there's probably some sort of like, they don't realize they're being manipulative. Like, because it's like, I don't know, like, why can't we all just be happy there? And it's like, okay, but if you're like wanting everyone to be happy, why don't you pay attention to why people are upset?
Kay, what was your opinion of the little gals that we saw this week?
Okay, so we're talking about Aurora and Brianna.
Well done, Kay. Woo!
I Googled that. Let's not give me too much credit. Yeah, I agree. They were little Robins, and I think that they just are they're just regurgitating what's being said at their household, I think. I have a feeling that in a few years, or maybe when the cameras are finally down, they will maybe hopefully readjust and kind of see everything for what it was with Kody and how he was treating everyone and everything.
I mean,
like, I have hope for them, but
yeah,
we hope so if it ever ends. And Renee, you were saying, will this ever end? And we do not want it to be cancelled. But their other income has been this speculation for years, right? Because all we've seen for these 18 seasons is them, let's put a deposit down. We're in escrow in this house. We're buying another house. And it is millions of dollars. And when Kate and I did this show and we covered it for the podcast, we went into the financials because Kate and I love digging into the financials of reality TV stars, and they were getting paid an obscene amount, which we kind of know, but also apparently what he keeps, because how he's so busy. Kody is so busy, guys. Like he's just too busy to look after the kids. He's always in his convertible with his little visor on. He's got a lot to do, guys. Don't bother him. But he apparently runs a business that resells guns. That's apparently his business.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense. And I have to say that the way that Kody Brown has changed since COVID hit, I think he's into conspiracy theories. Yes. I think he's deep into conspiracy theories, and it's making him super pissed off, just like across the board. And he's probably hanging out with these like super like fucking, I know the Arizona Republicans. I grew up with the Arizona Republicans and they're nightmares. Yeah. And so he's like probably hanging out with all these rootin' tootin' cowboys all day.
QAnon. There's QAnon going on.
There's got to be something. He is into some sort of conspiracy theory because he's just like so out there now.
I mean, when we went back to the seasons during COVID, I mean, he lost his mind. I mean, he fully lost his mind, and he, like you say, he's never been the same since.
That's what conspiracy theories do.
And he wanted all of his wives to match his fear and energy about everything and be obedient to him. He's the leader of the family and what he says goes. And when they wouldn't do that, it broke something in his mind. Yeah. And now
Kody is a broken man, without a doubt. I mean, even Robin, there is so much sympathy you could have for her with the lack of childcare, lack of this dream that she was promised. Sorry, I keep laughing. I know it's deeply insensitive. when she's saying, she's crying, she's like, oh, I just imagined all of us in our rocking chairs on the porch. It's like, wow, that dream is long gone, Robin. She was promised all of that. She was promised a Kody that, remember when he was courting her, he was all like, hobbing here and, going over here and let's go for dinners, let's do all this. And now he is just a man that's, you can just see him putting on those gloves to go and chop wood, which is all he ever does now in that barren wasteland that is Coyote Pass. And he's just angry all day. Robin has been left with like nothing that she was promised.
Do you believe her when she says she has no idea that there were so many issues with the family when she came into it?
I mean,
that's kind of hard to believe. Like, wouldn't that kind of get broken down off camera? Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you're trying to get someone to join your family, you're going to be on best behavior. Like everyone's going to be on best behavior, but I feel like she's intuitive. Like I was actually really surprised that she was a Capricorn moon and like a Libra sun, because I thought for sure there was going to be a lot of water in her chart. And she does have some Scorpio in her chart, like just to like get a little bit into the astrology there. So like I do think that she is intuitive, but with that Capricorn moon, it's like Capricorn moon is all about control. So like she'll see what she wants to see. And if she doesn't want to see the problems, she's not going to see them if she doesn't want to. So like maybe she didn't see them, but I don't think she looked, because she has this sort of like, she wants the fantasy, she wants the dream. And so that's what she gives her energy to. Even after Christine was like, I'm selling my house, bye, she was like, I still have hope we can all be together. And it's like, that is delusional. Like, I'm sorry. I like, bless your heart, I think is very sweet. But like, there's this sort of like putting walls up against reality.
She's been willfully ignorant. And by the way, Renee, we're going to do a little segment where I really want to get your insight on their signs. Don't mention any of their.
I know I messed it up.
No, it's okay, because I'm gonna get Kate to guess, because Kate's totally into astrology, so I'm really excited for her to guess them. There is one overall thing that I think for all this time that we've been watching these people, that I think is a really important point that we should comment on, and that is the interview looks. Now, I cannot fathom why not one of them has had hair and makeup for one of those interview looks this entire time. Mary is coming on that screen and she looks like, as we say in England, like she's been shagged through a hedge backwards. I mean, the hair's over here. She's got these jackets that she's loving that is not doing her any favors. And I am so deeply confused why not one of them has ever got glam for these interview looks. And I feel very, very sad about it.
I think Janelle Janelle's hair, it looks very Mormon to me. It looks very like, whoa, that's like, that wave is very Colorado City. That wave that she has, I was like, that's like a nice Mormon hairstyle. So, and then also like she had her makeup done really nice when she went to Christine's anniversary, where they like I counted 3 drinks from Christine. I was like, she had a Moscow Mule, and then she had that like pink thing, and I was like, and then I saw Janelle's wine. I was counting drinks during that, like whatever that was.
So I was so happy to see that. I mean, so let's catch up to where we actually are now. I know there's so much to talk about and we could do this for hours, but where we are now we have this last episode, Kate, right? Why don't you take us through actually the last episode and what happened? Because I know you make really good notes.
Oh, that's funny you say that, because I
don't have any notes.
Because I had to catch up on this season. Like I just watched like 5 episodes in a row.
Wow.
So they're all kind of blurring together. But this was where we had this big conversation with Mary, right? She's deciding to take her business back to the B&B and sell her LuLaRoe. So we have that big conversation.
That was the one before.
Oh, I'm getting
Yeah.
confused. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay, because that is important though,
Don't let it
Kate,
happen
because-
again. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because that is important though, because
That
that's
is
when
important.
she's talking to Kody and his reactions, guys. I was crying, and also crying with laughter, but also cringe at that poor Mary, Kate, that conversation. Oh my God.
It's like this game of chicken between her and Robin's just staring at her, wanting her to say what she wants her to say, and Kody doesn't know what's going on, or he's acting like he doesn't. Like, none of them will say what they really mean, and it's so frustrating. It's like, just be honest.
I think Kody will, in his confessionals this season, they really should get an Emmy, because he has just been like, don't know why he says it's like, don't know why Mary's even here. And she's like, oh, I'm so worried about telling, Kody that I'm going to be leaving. And he's like, don't even know when she's in Flagstaff. I mean, it's so awful. And Mary's like, I know that he doesn't care, but she's like, when she was in that kitchen talking to him, and she's like, just so you know, I don't want you to think that I'm leaving you. And he's just like, I don't want you to think I'm leaving you. I'm going to downsize. She has a monstrous size house. Do you see the size of that house she has for one person? And she's like, I'm just going to get something smaller. And when he talks about the barn dominium, oh my God.
Yeah, and I loved how she was like laughing about it though. She's like, yeah, he'll just keep me with all his old stuff, with his cars and his old furniture and whatever else he doesn't want. I'll just live with, the stuff that he doesn't need. I thought it was so funny how she
It was so symbolic.
It was. She hit the nail on the head completely as well. She got it. She's like, he's saying to me, I'm building this place to put all the stuff that I don't want. Hey, Mary, I've got a place that you could live on it. And he's like, when he's describing it, he's like, you'll have like a little place where you'll have like a little oven and, like a sink and stuff like that. I mean, it was so.
We'll dig you a hole in the back.
Yeah. He doesn't give a shit anymore. He's done. He was driven to madness with COVID, and he is now living a life of cruelty, hatred, and anger. That's who Kody Brown is. And in this last episode, Christine couldn't be happier. She's having this party to celebrate the anniversary of leaving him, or her old. No, it was the anniversary of her marriage, right?
Yeah, and he calls her.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I wasn't calling her to say anything. I only speak to Christine when I need to figure something out about the kids. Or Truly. It's all about Truly. About Truly.
I'm not convinced at all.
No.
Do what day it was.
He is so angry. The stuff that he said to her when they first broke up. Remember, he was like, I wasn't even attracted to Christine when I married her. I didn't want to marry her.
She forced herself into our relationship.
That is rough. This woman gave years and years and years of her life dedicated to this guy.
So, I mean, they're currently out. He took Janelle out for her birthday. And they put they turned the cameras off because they wanted some privacy. And they went to a restaurant and stuff, and she goes, and Janelle said that she went to hold his hand, and it just felt weird. So Janelle's like an inch away from saying I'm officially done. We've got, obviously, Christine, as of today, is married and on her honeymoon. We have Mary, who's leaving, but no one cares, which I'm sorry. I'm saying that no one cares there, which is so unfair. And there have been a lot of people saying, a lot of people saying that she should just go and marry that best friend of hers that she's so enamored with, and those two should live in that B&B.
I feel like that's the answer.
The way she talked about her and her whole essence, her face just lights up around her, and it's like, oh, we haven't seen that from Mary in a while.
Although I've had girlfriends though that make me feel that way, just because they're like, you just feel like someone has your back, and you can just like laugh and be totally authentic with someone. And like after being like ousted from the family and just like death gripping this relationship. Like I could see where that comes from. But I have to say, I honestly think that like, I do think that there's still kind of a chance for Janelle and Kody, because Janelle is very much like, this is still my religion. I still believe in this. And she's not like letting go of her religious beliefs.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Where did the religion go in all of this? I feel like we had all seasons of, well, we're part of a church, which they would never name. It obviously wasn't, Latter-day Saints, but we're this offshoot, but they never named it, but we're part of it. Then he started giving sermons at home every Sunday. So important we go to church. I haven't heard a word about their religion or their involvement in it, especially not from Kody, for years. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I think the most we've seen this season was on Christmas. He's like, well, we always read the nativity story from the Bible. And I was like, okay, I guess that's all that's really going on.
Why you guys aren't celebrating Joseph Smith's birthday anymore?
I know. What's going on with that? Don't understand that at all. But I do love my favorite. I think what we'll do is, before we go into the astrology thing, section, I do want to get from all of you like a favorite part of this season. I'll start with just the constant conversations where Mary has to be sat outside. Why was that woman not allowed to have a conversation in Robin's house? I went over to Robin's and they're freezing cold. It's winter in Arizona and they're sat by a fire pit and she has to sit outside every time she's freezing and wearing one of those jackets. The fire pit scenes for me with Mary were my favorite.
Oh my God, when she puts the jacket on her and she says, I'll pretend Cody's hugging me.
Stop.
Stop,
Renee.
And then I texted Pauline this when I was watching, but they tell that story about how there was one Christmas he forgot to get her a present. And so he gave her one of his old sweatshirts from his bedroom.
Stop. Renee, what's your favorite part?
I mean, I don't know that. Okay, so I don't know that I have like a favorite scene or a favorite part, but there is something that happened, like a social media episode crossover where, in the last episode, Kody Brown says, I think Christine's got a lot of bad karma coming her way. Well, she posted this week on social media a picture of her with her new husband at Disneyland. And she said, I guess this is just my good karma paying off, or like something about her karma. And I didn't know the correlation until I watched the episode. And I was like, that's pretty good.
See, that's why I like Christine. She's shady in a fun way. She's like lightly shady, and I like that.
She is. She's mean as a snake, but I like it. I like it. Guys, I want to go. Hi, Voodoo. I love you so much.
She's like walking around. I was like, I gotta pick her up.
For all our listeners, Renee's dog Voodoo is joining us. She is a dream angel, very, very funny, great sense of humor, amazing pup. So I want to do this for fun because we obviously have Kody, Mary, Janelle, Christine, Robin. Kate, you are I would say you're quite knowledgeable with astrology. I feel as though it's strange. It's something that I know zero about, considering other things that I'm interested in, but I don't know anything about astrology. So and we have an astrologer, so we have an expert here with us. So Kate, I want you to go ahead and first of all guess.
One by one, all these people.
Yeah, and I want you to start with Kody.
Okay. I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means, but I like reading about it, and it's something I check into. So, okay, Kody is my impression of him is that he is so stubborn and just a little bit detached emotionally. So I put Capricorn or Aquarius.
Renee.
He is a Capricorn sun and a Capricorn moon. Yeah, but I don't know his rising sign because I don't know what time he was born, but he has to be a Leo rising. Like there has to be some Leo somewhere. But his Mercury
Okay.
is Aquarius, so he would think like an Aquarius. The thing about Capricorns is like they they tend to like know who they really are a little bit later in life.
Oh,
So like I'm wondering if he's just like come to this realization that he's like not a polygamist and he's just like, pushing the women away. And I also like I wonder if he's got this gun business. Like, is he hanging out with like weird conservative Christian people who are like, you know, saying, I don't know. I don't know.
interesting. Well done, Kate, because you got a ding, you got that. While I was
Yeah.
while I was getting them all and pulling their signs, I realized Kody has the same birthday as my father. Now, I will let you know that my father, like Kody, had many women. Unfortunately, he was married to my mother at the time and not a polygamist, but that's another story. So let's move on. What about, let's go to Christine, your favorite, Kate. What about Christine?
Oh, okay. I get she's to me, she's quite independent. She's adventurous, fun loving, bold, social. I get fire sign from her. So I put Sagittarius or Aries.
Aries.
That's my son, by the way. So that's fun.
Yeah. What's interesting is in her chart, Saturn is opposing Neptune, which is like it can distort your perspective, like it can distort how you view reality.
Hmm.
And then she's got a Cancer moon, which is very sentimental. And so I feel like the poor thing probably just like held on for so long, thinking that like things could be fixed. And just also like being really determined to like maintain the relationship when really like she just needed to get on the other side of it and like go live her real true fantasy. And she has Mars and Venus, which is like what we look out for relationships. They're right next to each other. So it's called a conjunction. It means that those things, like those two planets work together, and it's in Gemini. And so like it's like I don't think she ever could have made polygamy work because she does need like one best friend. Like she doesn't need anything else. And I think
Wow.
that's why too, she's done with the other family members. She's like, I'm not like she's just not gonna have time for people she doesn't have like a heart and soul bond with.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Wow, Kate, you're 2 for 2. All right.
I have, yeah. Excited.
Let me take you to Janelle, Kate. Tell me what you think Janelle is.
I guessed Janelle as being a Cancer.
Okay.
She just seems like such a sensitive softie to me.
Renee?
She's a Taurus.
That's me.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
Okay.
a Taurus with a Capricorn moon.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of surprised by her being a Taurus because she is so easygoing.
Yeah.
You know what I
Thanks,
mean?
Renee. Carry on.
Like, no, Taurus are not. Just like they are stubborn and they will totally like go toe to toe. Like,
Yeah.
Taurus is lovely and wonderful until like they're not, and then you're fucked. Um,
True.
So yeah, she's like, and she's very grounded with that Capricorn moon because they're both earth signs. So I feel like, that's where she gets her even keel from. But I wonder if she's a Libra rising because she's so fair.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And
So,
Capricorns are really hard workers, right? Like I just see
Mhm.
that in her too. Like she always had her when we first met her, she was like
yep.
working every day and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And also,
Interesting.
she's the one who handles the finances, and Taurus is the sign of money.
Woo!
There you go, Polly. Money. Okay. Okay.
So we're gonna leave let's do Mary. Let's do darling Mary.
I guess Virgo.
Okay.
She's a Capricorn with a Libra moon.
Oh.
So her and Kody are the same. Like, what does that mean for a relationship if you're like two signs the same and like two Capricorns?
Yeah, well, they're born a day apart. He's January 17 and she's January 16, different years. But I feel like it's this thing where like you can be super compatible with someone of your sign, or it can just like be just the opposite, you know what I mean? But I think that when they fell in love, Capricorn is all about what can we build together. And I think that they both were like, we're gonna build this amazing life, and like we're gonna like look what we're gonna build together. And I think that like Capricorns like never give up. You know what I mean? And so I think that's why like Mary's held on for so long, but judging by the previews that they showed, you know what I mean? That conversation that they're going to have this season where it doesn't sound like she's staying, you know?
She's done so. Well, the last one we've got is Robin. Kate, what do you think?
I said Pisces or Gemini.
Oh, Gemini is good.
Gemini is good.
Yeah, but she's a Libra sun. I thought for sure she was like a water sign too. I was really surprised. She's got her Mars and Venus in Scorpio. So that's, I think, where that sort of like emotional energy comes from. But what's interesting, her son, when she was born, was like aligned with Pluto, which like does give it does have a destructive presence. So like she can be destroying relationships without even realizing it just because it's in her chart.
That tracks. Wow, that was good. Kate, I think you should give yourself a big pat on the back because you did very well in that, dude.
Yes, you
Thank
did.
you. Thank you.
You really did. You really did.
That was fun.
Guys, we could talk about, I mean, I feel like I have notes still for approximately 3 to 4 hours worth of recording. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now. But I do want to say thank you so much, Renee. This has been so amazing. And I do want you to just please go ahead and tell us about what you're doing at the moment, where people can find you, your podcast, how to book you. Because guys, I will tell you right now, if you're listening to this, Renee is extremely busy and always booked up. If you can get a reading with Renee, you are a lucky ducky. So get in touch with her. Where can people find you, Renee?
So I'm most active on Instagram, which is Rainbow Glitter Star, which is also my website, rainbowglitterstar.com. I write the daily horoscopes for astrology.com. I write for shondaland.com. If you are a subscriber to the Newsette, I also write for them. You'll get your horoscopes once a month from the Newsette. So I am constantly creating astrology content. And then my podcast is called The Glitter Cast, and it's all following the thread of astrology and mysticism. And, you know, we've had our animal communication episode. That was so much fun to do.
It was, but do you know what? 2 days later, after that came out, I realized I never told one of the kookiest stories that I had on there about my connection with Kitten and a dream I had the night before he had an incident. I had this whole big story and I never told it.
Well, we'll have to, here's the thing. I'll have you back on my podcast.
Yeah.
You'll have me back after the Sister Wives finale.
Yes.
I just keep inviting myself on this podcast. I was like, who can I talk to about Sister Wives? Because like
anytime.
I want to talk about it.
Yes.
Kate, any last words for Renee before we unfortunately have to let her go?
Thank you so much for being here. It was really nice meeting you. And I can't wait to have you back and chat again.
Yes, please. Thanks for having me on.
So much. And guys, if you want, you've got all of Renee's places to find her on Instagram. And be sure, I will mention, Renee has a lot of followers and people have started there have been like scammers that are changing like one letter in Renee's Instagram. So can you just repeat your Instagram for people, please, Renee?
Yeah, it's a Rainbow Glitter Star, and it's all one word, all spelled the way those words are spelled.
Yeah.
I don't have the verification badge because like I'm not giving Instagram money to verify. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I know. I started to get these DMs and people following me that had literally added one extra T in glitter and they were claiming they were you. So don't worry, I called them out and blocked them and everything. But guys, that's how you can follow Renee. So just spell it as it is. Follow her on Instagram. For us, for the podcast, Tender Loving Care Podcast, you can find us on Instagram at Tender Loving Care Podcast. You can email us at tenderlovingcarepod@gmail.com. We have episodes out on a Tuesday. Hang on. Woo. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have our Patreon and our subscriber episodes as well. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It was a blast, and I can't wait to see what horrendous mistakes Kody makes next. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.